Okay, so we're back. Let's talk about something altogether different. Let's come back here. Ellie, hi. You're good? Okay. So let's talk about something called as destiny. Has anyone heard about something called destiny? And versus free will. So maybe I'd like to know some of your thoughts. If anyone has something to say, I think the mic will pick up what you have to say. Some people feel about destiny. You want to close that latch?
Always been one of my biggest questions.
Huh?
Always been one of my biggest questions. How much of life is predetermined?
How much of life is predetermined? So what you lived so far felt predetermined, or it felt?
Well, yeah, you can read it, can't you? You've got reading charts to sort of, does that, would you say, help the thought of being predetermined? Yeah.
Was that predetermined?
Yeah.
Was it destined? Was it destined, or did they do it?
Destiny, from I guess my understanding, is like you board a plane and the plane is going from point A to point B. So you know you're on the plane, but anything you do on the plane while you're going from point A to point B is free will.
There's a probability that it will always go to point B, but then not always.
Yeah.
So there's this idea of free will and there's this idea of destiny. Now that comes again with non-duality. Some teachers use this idea of destiny and free will to make it easier for people, for the mind or the head to grasp it and pick it up. It's made easier in some way, like Ramesh Balsekar was one of those teachers. Even Ramakrishna Paramhans used certain anecdotes which were helping in this direction. So, whatever we are experiencing, the concept is, the idea is that we are experiencing some expression, right? We are expressing in this world. And that is the result of our samskaras, impressions, right? Even Buddhism says that. There are some samskaras latent, and this action figure is experiencing the expression of those impressions. Right? Some samskaras are there and they are enacting in some way in our life. So someone may face, given the same prescription or following the same diet of a doctor, following the same lifestyle, people will have different samskaras which give them different lives altogether. So the samskaras, in a way, the way I see it is like it's the script of the movie which is embedded in some way. And then this action figure will play out that script. And the other action figure will play out his reaction to this script, and hence he will play out his script. So all these scripts, they come together. So it's like theater, it's like improv theater, where everyone is bringing their script and playing it out. So Patrick says, I have this in mind for Ellie, and Ellie has something else in mind, and then they try to play that out. So it's a game without rules in that sense. What do they call it in Australia? Oh, the Australian has not come. Australian will come for dinner. Okay. What's it called in Australia? Free. The game without rules, the football where they play without, no, not rugby, but it's called something. I think it's Australian football where they don't have rules, free for all or something they call it. So it's like no rules when you play. So it's like that, so it's just But the script or the samskaras are all aligned in such a way that you will meet those kind of people. So there is a sort of order to the chaos. It all makes sense when you look back at it. So it's arranged that way. There's an arrangement in place. So Ramesh Balsekar would say that he would say, I don't know if it's a saying of Buddha or someone else, events happen, the thing had to fall. Deeds are done, they had to pick up those things. Events happen, deeds are done, but there is no individual doer thereof. No one is doing, or no one is the doer, actor who is doing. Things are happening through different players. Everyone is playing, but no one is doing, like no individual doer thereof. That is the idea. So in that sense, then people would ask Ramesh Balsekar, then what is our destiny? So he would say that given a situation, you have two choices. You can choose any one which you feel is right for you. You can choose any one, it won't make any difference. Then some people would say, then if you're very confused, what do we do? Then he says, toss a coin and choose one of the options. But anyway, if there are two options given to you, there are obviously some sense to both of them. Otherwise, you would already discard one option. So because both the options make some sense, you toss a coin and still the result will be what it has to be. So in a situation, he would say there is free will that you can choose. There is a choice in any given situation. But what will be the result of that choice is not up to this being. This we cannot decide. We cannot determine the result of that. So Ellie is free to, pick up her his pistol and shoot all of us. She's free to do that. And Patrick is free to stop her, or maybe this guy gives a punch and blows off her head or something like that. But all of them can do what they like. But eventually when Ellie shoots all of us and she goes out, she has to face the social and legal norms. And then she has to stay in jail for the rest of her life. So there is a consequence to every action. And that consequence is not decided by this. It is decided by the rest of the play. What will be the consequence? There's a slim chance that she may escape. So the consequences of one's actions are not determined by this object. But actions can be taken, that is the free will to take action. Swami Vivekananda would say, only those who are free have free will. So in the sense that if I'm free from all conditioning, if the conditioning no longer rules me, maybe not 100%, but to a great extent, if I'm open, I'm free, then I, in a way, represent the intelligence of this whole universe. Right? Because I'm connected with the infinite or with the unconditioned. So that which is unconditioned, we can call as source, call as God. And if we are one with the source, then the conditioning doesn't have much of a hold. Then things can happen in a certain way. Yeah?
It means to be detached from the conditions, because there will always be conditions in my life, right? If, God forbid, one of my relatives will die, okay, all of a sudden it will affect me, it's a condition. But it means that I need to be detached from that.
Yeah, that is more in sense of doing, no? That is in the sense of doing, what do I do with this?
Mm-hmm.
But here we are not talking about doing something. Here we are talking about the idea that if destiny is playing out and if our samskaras are playing out in a certain way in life. That someone has to die in your life, and there will be an emotional reaction, there will be a biological reaction,
Mhm.
which is natural. But if with this understanding, that becomes much lighter. There'll be an ease in it. That there'll be an ease because there's no fighting. That I could have done this, I could have done that. Maybe even that comes. I could have done this, I could have got this herb from India, but I didn't want to walk all the way, and I didn't get this herb, so my aunt died. So they start blaming. Because there is this idea that I am a doer, I could have changed something. And this idea of destiny, it is disarming. It says that you couldn't do anything. So there is no scope for regret and guilt. So it is an antidote to releasing regret and guilt, that things happened the way the samskaras were arranged. And hence they happened. But the mind, of course, will always come up, the head will always come up with reasons to blame. So when this understanding takes hold slowly, one sees that there will be more ease in life. I did this, I dated this wrong guy, I should have not gone with him. But your samskaras were arranged in such a way that it was supposed to happen that way. So this is, in a way, it's going to work on the regret, the shame, the guilt, because that's what is holding us back, in a way. So in a way, this is a teaching also for the action figure to see things a bit differently. It's like you have money so your free will is like money in the bank. All the money in your account is yours, right? It's yours, my money. I have 1 million in my account. Right? It's all mine. But can you get those 1 million if you want it now? You go to the ATM, you try to go to the bank. Maybe you can't get it all out in one go. You'll have to explain, you'll have to do a lot of things to get that money out of the bank, right? So in reality, you have money, but technically you don't have it. It's something like that, So free will is something we have, but it cannot be exercised so freely. So the question is it really free? Right?
So its nature, it's free, you said, but as long as we're attached to these conditions.
So once you are free, that is the idea which Swami Vivekananda gave. And here we are talking about the freedom which is inherent, which is always there, recognizing it. Recognizing the freedom, you are free. Because then there's no, the fight is less. The fight is less, so you're traveling lighter with things, you're flowing. You know that your samskaras are sort of playing out something in your life. And you're not resisting as much. And when you're resisting, what you're resisting is always that which is persisting. What you resist will persist. That's one of the ideas, what you will resist. I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this. And then you find the same thing. What you don't want. Because you've given it so much attention. The mind starts manifesting it. So the idea of destiny again is a part of this liberating message. And it's not in the sense that you're helpless. It's not to say that you are helpless, whatever is to happen, so I just lie down on the road and let the car run over me. It's not about being helpless. It's about seeing the futility of this doer, the doership. It's more to get rid of this doership. That I am the actor, I am the feeler, I am the one who's managing my life. And this guy here, this head is the manager, big manager. I manage. Then they say, I manifested this guy in my life. I manifested this boyfriend, I manifested this girlfriend. They're very happy with it. And one fine day, it all collapses. And then they hide, no social media posts, nothing. They just say, okay, fine. Bye bye. So, this idea of the individual doer is what it crashes, it sort of annihilates this idea of this individual doer, thinker, feeler. Because this organism, we can also call this organism as a verb, it's verbing, it's doing. Floyd is speaking, Floyd is doing this. I am speaking, I am acting, I am whatever. But what is constant is I am. I am sad, I am happy, I am doing this, I am doing that. But what is constant is I am. In all of this, I am. And that is the surface, that is the screen of the projector. So in the Upanishads, there's a beautiful description of the rope and the snake. So a man goes, he wants to go somewhere up to Dharamkot. And the Upanishads don't talk about Dharamkot, but he wants to go somewhere and he sees there's a snake on the way. And it's dark in the night. So he says, how am I going to wrestle with this snake? So he goes back. And morning he goes on the same road again and he realizes it was a big rope which was kept. And he thought it was a snake. So again, this is pointing to the mistake of the intellect. That I thought it was a snake. My mind, the meaning making machine, gave it a meaning that it is a snake. But actually it was a rope.
Projection from past experience.
Yeah, that's the mind of the meaning. All meaning given to anything is from past experience, is from the subconscious. And the subconscious is the store which is running our life. Is that movie in the can. We can use different words. We are just using different words. So sometimes there's a gap in understanding. So there is
I
this.
just need to go to the toilet.
Huh?
Can I use the washroom, Andy?
Yeah.
Right.
Right here.
Why don't you take him?
Yeah.
Because then you may get lost.
Sorry.
Okay, so now we're going to do another exercise till they come back. Point to your own body. We point again, a pointing exercise. Point to your own body, the lowest part of your body, whatever is lowest. And see what your finger is pointing to. Maybe it's your feet, maybe it's your pants. Look at it. Then move your finger few centimeters above and see what it's pointing to on your body. Maybe it's pointing to your hips, thighs, pants, whatever. Look at what it's pointing to. Look at what your finger is pointing to. Now move it to your slightly higher towards your belly and look at what it's pointing to. Now bring it more to your chest level, see what it's pointing to. And keep bringing this finger higher, higher, higher. Till you can point to your face. And when the finger is pointing to your face, what is it pointing to? Of course, the simple answer is it is pointing to me, it is pointing to face. Continue with that. What is the finger pointing to? What can you see? What is the finger pointing to when it comes to your face? and really see what the finger is pointing to. See that which the finger is pointing to. See that which the finger is pointing to. Now you release your finger. So the funny thing is we can see everyone's face in the room, but we can't see our own face. Is there a way for me to see my own face?
Mirror.
Huh?
Mirror.
And so then I'll see the mirror. I won't see my face. Then I'll be seeing the mirror, which might have a so-called reflection of some guy. But I'm looking at the mirror. So how do I see my own face? So as a child, he's coming back? Ah. So as a child, I never had this idea of who I am, what person I am. As a child, I never had this idea. When we were, all of us were children, not just me. I'm not the reincarnation of some lama or something. But all of you somehow did not have any idea what you look like when you were a child. Right? When you were very young, you didn't know. You didn't even know that you have to go to the mirror and look at your face. So you had no idea of this, but you had an idea of others. And then the so-called others, parents, society, school, uncles, aunts, friends, they gave you the idea who you are. And now you're stuck with their fucking version, whether you like it or not. So what I think I am is what I'm told I am. But it's not first-hand experience. They told me that you are this guy who's smart, who's this, that. Some good things, some bad things. They had to tell you. If they told us too many bad things, then we blamed them. Oh God, they gave me so much trauma. Fuckers. Right? And I didn't have good parents, I didn't have good teachers. They all bullied me. So we create a story based on what they told us. But it wasn't what I saw of myself. Even your name mostly is given by the parents. And if you choose a name, you cannot choose a completely original name. That is also a name which someone else has or comes from some book. Right? And then you want to be, let's say, a therapist in India, then you use a Indian name. Ananda, I'm Ananda. But that also is from some book, that's nothing original. Ananda. And you also don't want it to be original, because if it's too original, then no one will resonate with it. You also want it to sound in a certain way. Right? Like if Patrick becomes a DJ, he'll use some name, which can resonate in the DJ circle. Right? DJ Groove, DJ Snake. Cool name. So it's like a identity. But identity is from the outside. It is not here. It can be mine, but it's not here. It's not this.
Because you say that there is no identity inside because there is no such an inner kernel. It's only like when you refer to identity as like my name, who I am, my relations, and all that. It always interdependent on outer source.
It has come from outer source, as we saw. Because there was no way for me to make those conclusions as a child.
So according to all the Gita Upanishads, eventually there's no such thing as identity for all men.
Whatever, I don't know, I'm not a scholar in those books.
Uh-huh.
But you'll have to ask what the books say, or use ChatGPT or something. But what we are trying to see here is see that which is here without the dependence on the outside. Because we don't want another concept, we don't want another conceptual idea that, oh, now you are nothing. So that is like repeating, to the mind, it's like a parroting. But satsang and this process of seeing that we are engaging in is not for that. It is for just relaxing into what we already are. It's a process of ease. Right? So slowly, like in this satsang, Tim has started lying down, and then next satsang, more people will start lying down. If they keep coming, because they're more relaxed. They're easy. Right? And they don't feel the need to wear pants, they just come in their shorts and chill. Okay. Right? So in a way, their spiritual pants have dropped and they never bothered to pick them up. Because there's a relaxation. So ultimately this is aimed at a certain kind of, it's not aimed at anything, but it sort of gives a certain kind of relaxation. When this is seen, and this is understood. Even understanding again, implies the mind. So words are always tricky. You don't need to play too much with the words. Okay, what's the time?
2:45.
Okay. Anything else? Any questions coming up from this? Any triggers? Anything you want to share? What's coming up for you?
I think for me, I've read so much, and I've realized in my reading that the reading's not doing anything anymore because I already have all of the information that I need. And so the advice that I was given was just stop reading. And by someone that I know who has more of an experiential grasp on this, is he was like, you're just gonna keep going in circles. Everybody's saying the same thing. And maybe in the pursuit of reading, you've forgotten that you just need to sit with yourself and just allow the teaching to actually sit. And I think where I'm struggling is like what he had said was at the end of all of this, all of these practices, all of these things that you do in the pursuit of this knowledge or this embodied understanding, it all kind of just falls away. And I guess my confusion was, then do you even go down the path of going through all of the practices if you know that they'll fall away at the end because they're no longer needed because you can access that space now at any time.
Okay. Yeah. So again, that is a linear idea that something will happen out of this reading, out of this workshop, out of this satsang, and that is the nature of the head because it always wants a result.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they say, even on the dating apps, they will say, "Why are you here? Are you here for dating? Are you here for friendship? Are you here for casual?" So there's a purpose, You can't just meet another human just to meet. There has to be a purpose. Oh, I'm giving my time, so I have to get sex after this date. So there's a purpose for the exercise, Or let's say, so the mind always wants the mind is a businessman. It always wants a return. And it wants to see that return, that I got this. And sometimes it will make up the return. It will make up that, oh, I got this, now these chakras are awakened, now these few are left, 1 or 2 are left. So this is all in terms of And then they say, if I eat more vegetarian food, more vegan food, then these also will open. Then I'm gonna have this full blast perception, you know. And then Raz will do whatever I say, LA will do whatever I say. I'm God. So that's so nice for the mind, you know, that it can become God, it will make LA do anything, it will make Raz do anything. If I tell Raz to stand on his head, he'll do it in the middle of the street. It's so interesting for the mind. So this message is disempowering. Because you're not going to become like Ramana Maharshi. Right? You're not going to become like Nisargadatta Maharaj. Because your impressions, expressions, whole thing is different. Right? And you can only be this. And this itself is given so much of color by others. Not by me. Not by this. Not from here. The me also is another other actually. What we say me is another entity which tells me what to do. Floyd, you should look in this certain way. Floyd is telling this thing only, that you should look in a certain way, you should comb your hair in a certain way. And then Tim comes up and says, hey Floyd, you should do your thing in a certain way, you know. And then everyone is telling this to do things in a certain way, to get to a certain thing. Floyd, if you don't dress like this, wear white, you know, wear white, wear this. Don't do satsang wearing your jeans and all. So then people will come to your satsang. If you wear white, they'll see you in the market. Then they'll come. Yeah, grow. You have a beard, that's good. You can grow it more. Use some serum so it grows better. So there is a certain resistance to being ordinary. Because being ordinary means you cannot get anywhere. So it has to go to some goal. Right? And in Zen they say that most extraordinary thing is to be ordinary. So as I said in the beginning, this will help you to get nothing. It will make you more ordinary. And being more ordinary perhaps will help you to travel lighter, travel with more ease. And that, I think that's fun. The lightness is fun. And in terms of process, because the mind will interpret everything in terms of process, these exercises, this seeing is also very enjoyable. Like for example, for a long time I would think, that I am in this body. When I'm meditating, I'm in this body meditating. I'm looking inside the body. But in time, this guy, this action figure saw that actually the body is in the space. Body is in the mind. Body is in what is perceiving. The meditation is not happening inside the body. But the body is inside of what meditation is happening. So then all these processes will become more joyful when we take this understanding. And satsang will help you to listening to this. It doesn't have to be listening to me. It can be listening to anyone. And usually satsang traditionally has been verbal. It hasn't been like, for some reason, it is verbal. It can be on Zoom also. It works on the same way. But it wasn't, I don't know if it was worth reading. And in the Upanishads, there are 3 stages. Shravana, which is listening. So it starts with Shravana. But now, of course, people interpret it as reading also. But Shravana, if you take the Hindi word or Sanskrit word, it is listening. Shravana, then Manana, contemplation. Because automatically you start mulling over it, what has been said. You sit and you mull over it. And third stage is Nididhyasana. Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Nididhyasana is interpreted as meditation, being with that, whatever has arisen. So that is explained in terms of a process as a manual, because all books have to be some kind of instruction manual. But you don't need a book, you don't need 100 pages, you don't need 200 pages to tell you what you already are. And whatever they tell you will not change what you are. Right? So this is the truth of who you are is infallible. What is the difference between truth and fact? The English have to answer. It's your language. Truth and fact. What it means in your mind, not the Oxford definition.
Depends on the perspective.
No, what from your perspective we want to know.
What is truth and what is fact?
Yeah.
Fact would be more scientific, maybe. Another way of outlining it. Truth is more something you can feel if it's right or wrong.
Okay. Yeah, so facts are something which can change. Truth will never change. Truth is eternal, facts are change. Right? Now it's a fact that who was the Prime Minister of UK?
Keir Starmer.
Who?
Keir Starmer.
Weird name. It's a German name. No? Starmer is what?
No.
Weird name. So, okay, anyway. So, let's say, but if you went back few years back, maybe it was Tony Blair, it was someone else. So, the facts have changed. Right? Facts are time bound, facts are changeable. But truth is that which is eternal. Truth is that which never changes. So you can see, what in your life changes. Your body changes. It degenerates. It gets older. It gets whatever you do to it. You can get plastic surgery and make it younger also nowadays. Right? But it will change. The body is changing. So that cannot be the truth. The mind always keeps changing. That cannot be the truth. The thoughts, they're not the same every day. You don't know what will be your next thought. And you do not know what will be the content of your head tomorrow. Right? You can't decide, no? That tomorrow Patrick will have these thoughts and only these thoughts. I'm not going to think about anything else. So the thought itself cannot be truth. So what is truth? That is again neti. Peeling off the layers of the onion till you're left with the core, whatever it is. Peeling off all those layers. That's the understanding in terms of a process. But there is no peeling meant to be done because in the core, the onion is what it is. Even if you don't peel, it is what it is. You are already that. Tattvam Asi. Even if you read, you don't read, it won't make any difference. You start reading horror novels, you start reading pornographic novels, it will not change what you are. You watch horror movies, it will not change what you are. Because the screen is not affected by the action on the movie. Like James Bond kills so many guys, there's no blood on the screen. The screen is the same. Right? So we are not implying any kind of action that you stop doing this, start doing that, because mind will always take the call to arms that I have to change something. Oh, I have to start doing it differently. Oh, I didn't do this all my life. What a dumb guy I am. You say, oh no, I've already been doing all this. I'm very evolved spiritually. So satsang takes us through this process of Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, listening, contemplation, and then being. It takes us naturally into that. That's why we listen to satsang. You don't have to listen to this guy talking. You can listen to any guy talking. With whom you resonate. And you feel that. And that also, because we are in this body, it also brings an aspect of bhakti, devotion, trust in someone. Well, if you don't have trust, you won't listen to the same guy for 10 years, right? Or 10 times. Or 10 minutes. You don't like him and say, oh, this fucker, I'm not going to listen to him. Right? Here you're slightly, obliged, because you come for a workshop, you're paying. So we found ways to trap you, that you won't leave for 2 hours. You want to make the most of every penny. Maybe I'll miss something. That's also the mind. So all the marketing is based on the mind. Right? Maybe I'll miss something when Freud will say something in the end, I'll miss it. So I should stay. But otherwise, if you're on YouTube, if you're on whatever kind of thing, you can just leave. Right? You can stop listening to that. So satsang in any form is a communal dinner. It's like a communal dinner where all the mistakes of the intellect are gotten rid of. So it's not like you're eating something new, but it's like it's the reverse actually. You're getting rid of the communal poop or something. You're getting rid of things together. And that's happening while you're in satsang. So that is the function of non-duality delivered through satsang and these exercises. And thank you everyone for joining. You could be doing so many other things.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
but you came here. Thank you. Okay. Shut it.